It's a hands-on episode with stories about kids putting science into action. Plus, meet the newest VPS school board member, Wendy Smith, and Tara Cox joins us from the district's communications office with the latest updates on school construction projects. Let's go inside Vancouver Public Schools. Live it up, live it up, live it up, live it up. Hey everybody, welcome to the show. I'm Nick Vole. We have some fun stuff coming up for you, and we're going to get to those stories in just a minute. But first, let's do our top three. These are our three favorite social media posts. Our number three comes from the Dean of Students at Skyview, Ms. Damiano. She took a group of AVID students on a trip to colleges. A funny looking group right there. AVID is a district-wide program that prepares students to not only get to college, but do well once they arrive there. Our number two comes from the Family Community Resource Center at Houck Elementary. Their warmth tree is now available for students who need warm gloves and hats. If you or someone you know needs a little help this winter season, don't be shy about reaching out to your school's Family Community Resource Center or the front desk at your school. And hey, our number one comes from the city of Vancouver. Like the caption says, nothing says holiday cheer like this face. The Reindeer Block Party in the Uptown Village neighborhood featured a reindeer petting zoo this past weekend and drew lots of families out to get an early start on the holiday season. And if you live in that neighborhood near Houck Elementary or Lincoln, there are more events coming up. Check the calendar at uptownvillage.com. Two Vancouver students, good friends who go to different schools, share a passion for puzzles. As Amanda Richter reports, they use their problem-solving skills to unlock an opportunity for other students that had never been there before.
Do you guys know what a Rubik's Cube is?
Ooh. Sasha Thomas had an idea. It began with his father.
My dad works at the VA. He works with blind veterans.
He also has a hobby. Sasha and his buddy Carson Maurer are hooked on solving Rubik's Cubes.
It kind of gave us this idea of bringing this hobby of ours to a community that didn't have it previously.
They reached out this summer to the Washington State School for the Blind. Like most cubers, Sasha and Carson rely on their eyes.
So when solving a Rubik's Cube, you need to be aware of the colors that are opposite of each other. So for example, you need to know that white is opposite of yellow.
But that doesn't work for the visually impaired, just as Carson can't use a Braille sheet to get an algorithm he needs.
I'm going to have to ask you to find it for me on the Braille sheet.
Right. So
You
you
can't read it?
No, I can't.
Sasha and Carson's idea was to add textures to the squares, so students could read the colors with their fingers.
We have Velcro, we have like little raised foam dots, we have like hard plastic pieces, and we've talked with the students about which materials that they find to be the most easily distinguishable.
The result is a brand new experience for these students.
I've seen one before, but never really able to participate. Man, it twisted my brain really good.
Carson and Sasha are teaching the students techniques, but this is a learning opportunity for them too.
It's been definitely an experience that has been a pleasure working with them, but also a lot of information we'll take and we'll be able to improve it and make it better.
So by using their feedback, we can create the puzzle that works the best for them, really.
Slowly but surely, Oriane Fatim and her classmates are conquering the cube. How did it make you feel to solve the whole thing?
Accomplished. I can solve a real puzzle, I guess.
It also gives her a new connection to her puzzle-playing family.
I went home and I was like, I get to join you guys, ha ha. I'm a part of you guys, I have one too.
Inside Vancouver Public Schools, I'm Amanda Richter.
Thanks, Amanda. Sasha goes to Vancouver iTech Preparatory and Carson goes to Skyview. They're trying to figure out what to do next with their cube, but it's already getting them lots of attention. In addition to our story, they've also been featured in the Columbian and on KGW Channel 8. We are going to stick with kids making things using science Every year, the day before Thanksgiving break, Skyview is transformed from a high school into a giant laboratory. The annual Tech Day Challenge puts hundreds of kids in competition to engineer the best solution to a problem. The theme this year is Back to the Future.
Great Scott!
That reaction is pretty typical once students learn what the big challenge is at the annual Skyview Tech Day. The Science, Math, and Technology Department puts on this event every fall. Students get in teams and have to solve a difficult task put together by teachers.
It's a chance for a lot of us who are interested in math and science and technology to kind of have a way to let loose all of our creative ideas and have fun at the same time.
This year, Tech Day is based around the movie Back to the Future.
How do the physics and science in the movie stack up to real life?
I don't know much about time travel, but they don't. I don't know how a flux capacitor works.
Okay, no literal time travel, but the concept plays a big role. The day's final challenge involves a giant mat on the gym floor with 1885, 1955, 1985, and 2017 painted on like a bullseye. Students have to build cars that can glide down ramps and stop in each time zone.
It's all about adjusting the car's wheels, putting glider on there if that helps.
You cannot let it go past your time zone, so it's pretty difficult to figure out the mathematics behind it. A lot of math involved, and yeah, it's hard.
The day began with small challenges.
So the small challenges, students had to gain fuel points to power their DeLoreans. Need 1.21 gigawatts and 88 miles per hour to go back to the future.
Are you able to generate the 1.21 gigawatts?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. My group is. We're working together pretty good. We've got like a lot of gigawatts.
The teams that work together find success, just like in real life.
Coordination is key, making sure everybody's got something to do and that we're all helping out, contributing to the car.
This is a real opportunity to bridge the gap between scientific principles we teach in class and collaboration.
Obviously, we can't make a time machine, but it's still fun to have very broad concepts being applied to fun activities.
Skyview SMT is a magnet program and students can apply to be a part of it. The magnet registration period will open up after the first of the year. Over at Hazeldale Elementary School, they're also giving kids hands-on learning opportunities. When we visited, students participated in what the school calls an experience lab. As you can see, this session was about earthworms, presented by Clark County Master Gardeners. The idea for the Experience Lab series is for experts to teach kids about different jobs or topics, and for the kids to get hands-on lessons and gain confidence in a subject area.
I think it was really cool because when she told me, I really felt like I knew what to do.
Oh, kids are just always fun to work with. They're kids, and you never know what to expect.
Earlier in the day, kids learned about pollination. Topics at other experience labs include plumbing, emergency management, theater, and more. The school's Family Community Resource Centers puts on the events, which, as you can imagine, are very popular. The Vancouver Public Schools Board of Directors has a new face after longtime member Kathy Gillespie decided not to run for re-election. Joining the board now is Wendy Smith. The veteran teacher in the Evergreen School District won the seat in the November election. She joins a veteran group of school board members, and she also joins us now. And joining me now is Wendy. Wendy, thank you for being here.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So for those unfamiliar with you, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background?
Well, I grew up in Vancouver. I've lived here my whole life. I attended Vancouver Public Schools, kindergarten through 12th grade, graduated from Columbia River High School. Mm-hmm. And now I'm the parent of a child in the district. So I have an 8-year-old daughter who's a 3rd grader at Sarah J. Anderson, and a 4-year-old son who will be in kindergarten next year.
Oh, okay, so you very, very deep roots here in Vancouver.
Very much so, yes.
Well, now that you're a school board member, what are your priorities?
Well, I'm also a teacher, so obviously I have priorities as a parent. Every parent wants the very best education for their child, so I have very invested in the success of Vancouver Public Schools as a parent, but I'm also a teacher, so I bring that perspective to it as well. And as a teacher, I see every day the realities of the classroom. I see the realities of inequity in the classroom, and so that's obviously a very high priority for me.
Sure, and that's why you wanted to run for the school
It was
board.
one of the reasons, yeah.
Sure. Well, how long have you been a teacher?
This is my 14th year.
14th year.
Yeah.
So that's
A while. I was staff assistant for a couple of years before that, so I've been in schools for a while.
well, that leads to my next question then. So in all that time, what kind of changes have you seen in the classroom? Because it seems like I've been with this school district for 8 years, and there's been all kinds of changes.
Oh, yeah.
You've seen a lot.
Yeah.
So what has changed, and how do you think the district needs to adapt to keep up with those changes?
Well, I think there have been kind of two big changes since I started in schools. One, my first year of teaching, my technology that I taught with was an overhead projector. It's a little bit different now.
Yeah.
And I think that the more technology we bring in, now we're handing devices one-to-one to our students, which is a game changer. It's a paradigm shift in education. And I think teaching is going to be very different another 10 years, 15 years from now.
Sure.
And I think Vancouver's done a lot already. They've been a leader, actually, in using technology in the classroom and training their teachers and their students in how to best use it. So I'm excited to be part of that because I think Vancouver's done really, really, really well with that regard. And the second big change that I've seen, when I first started teaching, it was kind of at the height of high-stakes testing. It's a very different conversation that's happening now, where high-stakes testing, I think that we've learned a lot from that. I think it wasn't a great place for us to be for a while. It was pretty frustrating as a teacher, actually, to have that hyper-focus on test scores. But a couple of things have come out of that I think are positives. One is that we've learned that we need multiple measures of success in order to gauge whether or not we're being effective and providing the best education to our students. And I think the second thing that we've learned is that our conversation has changed in terms of understanding that not every student comes to the classroom fully prepared.
Sure.
They don't all come with the same toolbox, so to speak. So understanding how to address those inequities, how to help those students, and really make education should be the great equalizer. It's not always the great equalizer, but we can start doing what we can in order to make every student ready to learn and allow them to access every opportunity possible.
Sure. Well, Wendy, I want to thank you for coming in and joining us. Congrats on the
Thank you very much.
the election, and I look forward to seeing what you do over the next 4 years.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. If you want to learn more about the school board, which represents the community and helps shape the direction of our public schools, head to the district website. vansd.org/schoolboard has information on each member of the board, details on how they make their decisions, and a way for you to contact members with your concerns or comments. Time now for a Re-Schools update. That is the latest on construction projects across the district. And joining us now with more is Tara Cox from the district's communications department.
Hey Nick, the bond measure passed by voters back in February has put in motion new school buildings, and it's getting easier to get a sense of what they'll be like. We stopped by the property where the new Marshall Elementary and McLaughlin Middle Schools will be built and watched as a crew from Columbia West Engineering drilled test pits. They were testing the soil to make sure the ground would be sound for new construction. As you have seen in the last episode, Mac and Marshall will possibly be built with adjoining spaces to save money and to create continuity between the two schools. Meanwhile, planning continues for what all of the new district schools will look like. This shot shows Brent Young of LSW Architects working with McLaughlin staff on what they need in a new school building. Another LSW architect, Casey Wyckoff, is working on the new Vancouver iTech Prep building on the WSUV campus. He shared some preliminary plans on Twitter. This 3-story design includes outdoor spaces, maker spaces, dedicated areas for robotics and fabrication, in addition to the classrooms. If you want to stay on top of the bond measure construction projects, check out vansd.org/reschools. We keep that site up to date with the latest developments, and we also have a Twitter account for that, @VPS_reschools. Of course, we're always updating the public right here on Inside Vancouver Public Schools, so be sure to stay tuned on Facebook, YouTube, and Comcast Channel 328. Nick, back to you.
Hey, thank you, Tara. Time now for the big picture, our favorite image from social media. And this one took me back a few years. It is from the Washington State Archives, and it's a picture of a Commodore computer. Any of you older folks out there may have used one of these bad boys when you were in school in the 70s or 80s. It featured a tape recorder for media storage and anywhere from 4 to 96 kilobytes of memory. If my math is right, it would take almost 32,000 of these to equal the processing power of a new iPhone, so be grateful. Now let's see what's happening in Vancouver Public Schools, and it's every kid's favorite, the start of winter break. The last day of school for students in the district is December 15th. Next Friday, they'll have just over 2 weeks off to enjoy the holidays with their families. School starts back up again on January 2nd, just like my diet. And that is it for us. We will have one more episode before Christmas with lots of holiday cheer, so make sure you keep your eyes peeled for that one. Until then, I'm Nick Vole. Thanks for watching.